Euromaxx highlights. Coming up in this edition, motor history. Stuttgart celebrates 125 years of the automobile. Challenging sport. Beach polo is how some top managers beat stress. And innovative architecture, a new building for Germany's National Library in Leipzig. Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Hello and welcome to our Highlights edition. Well, in the music world, the examples are many of children who follow in their parents' footsteps when it comes to a choice of career. And a number of contemporary examples come to mind. For example, Coco Sumner, who's the daughter of Sting, Rufus and Martha Wainwright, as the children of folk singer Kate McGarrigle, or even both of John Lennon's sons, Sean and Julian Lennon. Well, it doesn't often happen the other way around, but Mitch Winehouse, the father of the notorious Amy, has clearly been inspired by his daughter's success. So much so that he brought out an album of swing songs just last year and has just played his first ever concert in Germany, in the motor city of Wolfsburg.
If I have my way, we're gonna stay as hot as we are. You give me that earth-shaking, that wonderful dream-making, breath-taking rush of love to the heart.
At the Movimentos Festival in Wolfsburg, Mitch Winehouse performs the music that the Winehouse family grew up with, almost 30 years after he had broken off his singing career.
When I was on stage many years ago, it wasn't like this. This is real. This is a real show. So, you know, this was great. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much. Danke.
You can see he's Amy's father.
Lives up to the name.
Great music. Mitch Winehouse creates honest-to-goodness swing.
For his debut album, Rush of Love, Mitch Winehouse recorded mostly well-known jazz and swing classics, but also 4 of his own songs.
This is all so grand, my dreams are on parade.
I would be stupid if I didn't realise I got my opportunity because I'm Amy's father. So that in the first instance, it's a great benefit because I wouldn't have got the chance if I wasn't Amy's dad.
Amy Winehouse is world famous, both for her music and her drug scandals. But with just 2 albums so far, the style icon is already one of the most influential artists of the new millennium.
I don't ever want to drink again. I just need a friend.
Everybody in my family sang because we grew up in an area of East London where nobody had anything. You know, there was no televisions in those days, and everybody entertained. We played the piano, and my uncle had an accordion, and my father played the mouth organ, and everybody sang.
Amy was born in 1983. Because her parents both worked, she grew up in the extended family. Like her father, she was musically influenced by Grandma Winehouse. Music is what keeps this family together.
Family means everything to me and to Amy, you know, and she phones me. You know, I see her maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but she phones me 2 or 3 times a day, and her mum, and her brother. So family is very, very important to all of us.
Mitch Winehouse gave up his dream of a singing career 30 years ago and became a taxi driver to feed the family. He supported his daughter's musical ambitions and arranged her first performances in a friend's jazz bar when she was 18.
About 6 years ago, she said, you should make an album, because she would get me up on stage and I'd sing a couple of songs and everyone enjoyed it. And so we did it.
A second song from the debut album has just been released as a single, April in Paris.
April in Paris, chestnuts in blossom, holiday tables.
Mitch Winehouse isn't seeking commercial success or a spot in the charts. He says it's more important to him to make music with others and enjoy performing on stage. like here at the Soundcheck in Wolfsburg.
This is just fantastic.
Fight, fight, fight.
And so at age 60, Amy Winehouse's father Mitch is fulfilling one of his lifelong dreams.
Heavenly star-spangled night. We'll find out as sure as we live. That something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. Yeah!
Great stuff. Well, this year marks a big anniversary for the automobile. And in the southern German state of Baden-Württemberg, where the first car was invented by Carl Benz back in 1886, that's being celebrated in style. A motorized parade in Stuttgart was one of the recent highlight events that went from the Porsche Museum to the Mercedes Museum to the main castle square. 125 cars, one for each year of motor history. And if spectators had a treat to watch them all go by, the drivers themselves were no less impressed.
These are four-wheeled witnesses to history. German car makers Mercedes, Porsche and Audi have put classic vehicles back on the road in Stuttgart to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the automobile. But one in particular stands out. The car that inventor Carl Benz originally patented had only 3 wheels. It's being driven by his great-granddaughter.
I like driving the first patented car. I feel at home in it.
For Wolfgang Porsche, the Automotive Parade is a heartwarming event. He's behind the wheel of the very first car his father, Ferdinand Porsche, built. That was in 1947.
I remember my father taking this one on an historical drive around the Nürburgring. There are lots of pictures. There's not much more you can say. It's moving.
The other German car makers have also taken some of their most elegant and rarest vehicles out of the museums for the parade. And private car collectors have gotten in on the act too.
I would have loved a car like this, but I couldn't afford it. When was it built?
54 to 55.
Josef Mast carefully prepared his Mercedes for the parade. It's a 300B convertible. Only 50 cars of this model were ever produced. The Mercedes-Benz 300 was the first luxury car in post-war Germany. It's supremely elegant and largely handmade.
Everything's very fine. In 1951, when it came on the market, this was an exclusive luxury car. You can sense that the car cost 4.5 times as much as a VW Beetle. And that's the way it drives as well.
The Mercedes 300 became an official West German state car. Germany's first post-war chancellor, Konrad Adenauer, himself drove this model. A number of celebrities grabbed the chance to experience a piece of the past. For example, a Mercedes-Benz 500K from 1934.
When you sit in this car, you can imagine what it was like back then. There were open roads. You had time to signal because there were no other cars.
Tennis legend Boris Becker took a turn in a gull-winged Mercedes from the 1950s with a few friends.
The atmosphere in Stuttgart is great. It's full speed ahead when there are normally radar traps. Everyone here is a car freak. I like driving a lot and do it a lot, and it's interesting to get acquainted with history.
This Blitzen-Benz race car was built in 1909, but already had 200 horsepower. More than 100 years of automotive sports history, driven by 3 generations of German racing drivers.
This trip back in time is very emotional, especially when I see the old cars I used to drive in the 1960s. You also realize how important the car was for Germany's affluence. The automobile made Germany what it is today, and it's nice to see that's been going on for 125 years.
An electric race car hints at where the automotive future might be headed. The parade ended at another piece of the past, the former royal residence in Stuttgart.
It's a great event, I must say. 125 years of the automobile. The automobile set the world in motion, and it'll continue to do so in other forms and with other engines, but always emotionally.
The Stuttgart Automotive Parade is a definite highlight in this year's anniversary celebrations.
Well, now to another milestone anniversary, namely the 100th birthday of Nivea cream. When I was growing up, there was always a great big blue tub of it in the bathroom on the counter. And back then, I had no idea that it was a German product and that most kids here in Germany were growing up with it too. Well, here they pronounce it Nivea. And while the brand has had its up and downs, its history is one of a household name with staying power.
A luxury liner plays host to the 100th birthday bash for a face cream. Singer Rihanna has been hired to raise Nivea's appeal to a younger clientele. And German football coach Joachim Löw is also on hand. Nivea is an official sponsor of the German team. And Löw's reputation as a smartly dressed man obviously has benefits for the brand.
Der hier in der Mitte und der hält den Strafraum sauber. Verstanden?
A century ago, Nivea was launched as a skin cream for daily use. Now it's the global market leader in the skincare sector. Attempts to establish it as a makeup product failed. People didn't see Nivea as a luxury. But the promotional message of simplicity does work. This ad stressed its moisturizing properties.
Nivea gibt sie ihr. Darum ist Nivea für Millionen die Hausmarke.
One winning factor from the word go was the little blue tin. The product's popularity has transcended generations. Uli Meyer Johansson, head of one of Europe's leading design agencies, respects that achievement.
The brand stands for product quality. It never made any other promises on the market. It sounds so simple, but staying true to yourself is incredibly difficult. This product remained true to its promise in terms of user quality and market positioning. It has a very high quality.
Pharmacist Oskar Troplowitz launched the groundbreaking skin cream in 1911. The key was its water-in-oil emulsion, a registered chemical patent. The cream, named after the Latin word for snow and white, was made by his Hamburg-based company Beiersdorf. The firm always had an international arm. By 1914, Nivea was available on 5 continents. 1920 saw the first Nivea cinema ad, directed by pioneering promotional filmmaker Julius Pinschewer. The first tin design had a contemporary Art Nouveau look. The trademark blue background and white logo didn't arrive until 1925. The lettering was custom created for Nivea. The cream still smells like it did originally, and the design has likewise changed only minimally over the decades.
The secret behind this tin is the astonishing simplicity of its look. The blue stands for the rational and hints that you can depend on it. And the white stands for purity.
123 million tins of Nivea skin cream are produced each year and sold around the globe. Preferences vary according to the country. In Mexico, people buy in bulk, while in Indonesia, they prefer little tins. Most buyers aren't aware that Nivea is a German brand. In
In this version, it really did transcend cultural borders. People think it comes from their own country, whether in the US, Britain, France, or China.
Nivea is still a cream for the masses, one that will likely be around for at least another 100 years.
Top company managers and CEOs know what it means to have an appointment calendar that's full to nearly bursting, and in times of economic crisis, perhaps even more than ever. Well, that's why many of them turn to activities like golf or sailing on the weekend to slow the pace down a bit. But there is a rarefied group of professionals that like their hobbies a bit more action-packed and unpredictable. And these are the guys who practice beach polo. Wind, water, sand, a magnificent beast as a partner, and a challenging game are the ingredients, and we caught up with one player on Germany's Baltic coast to see why he is so hopelessly hooked.
Timmendorfer Beach. 2 teams, 4 players, and 1 aim: to get the ball into the opponent's goal with a mallet. Siegfried Groß is among the players. He's CEO of a private bank and plays polo when he needs to relax. He came all the way from Düsseldorf with 4 horses, a groom, and a driver.
Well, to me, it's like skiing. When I play polo, I have to concentrate so much on the riding, the game, the ball. I don't have much time to think about anything else. After a polo weekend, I've managed to get my mind cleared up and can go back to work refreshed.
It might be relaxing, but it takes a lot of planning. The horses must be in good shape, and they need to be put up in a stable. But the 48-year-old manager is as passionate about his hobby as he is about his profession.
The basic parallel is strategy. With polo, you have to think carefully about the moves you're going to make to reach the goal, how you're going to outmaneuver your opponent. And a plan alone isn't enough. You also need to be able to put it into practice.
Still, it's not just about winning. Groß is here mainly to get a break from work and have some fun. Everyone here knows one another. Germany doesn't have a big polo scene, which isn't surprising, given that a polo horse costs between 10,000 and 30,000 euros, and each player needs at least 4.
Well, it's not great if it's windy because the horses don't like it. They're very sensitive to ocean breeze and the sorts of sounds you get here on the coast. The waves can be very loud and the flags can beat very noisily in the wind.
Meanwhile, the guests enjoy refreshments in the VIP tent. Polo attracts a crowd who like to see and be seen. But beach polo is particularly exciting because the audience gets to sit unusually close to the pitch, close to the action. It all makes for a great atmosphere. Groß is ready for action. Time to put on his protective gear.
The belts have to be in place, everything needs to be well fastened, that's important. And the blankets need to be on right, and the saddle mustn't slip.
And he's off. The wind is up, which slows the players down considerably. Moreover, the wind keeps picking up the ball and carrying it off. The players are concerned for their horses, and they're replaced after just 7 minutes. The game's over in just 28 minutes. It's a draw, and the teams agree the result is undecided. They don't want to overtax the horses.
It was getting better towards the end, but the horses, just look at them. They're exhausted. There's no more point. So we decided we'd stop.
The spectators don't seem to mind in the least.
Polo is a great sport. The horses are fabulous. My background is in dressage, where the horses are very high-strung, but these are very relaxed. You couldn't let just any horse ride around here.
It's a great combination of a family day out, a sporting event, and a nice atmosphere.
It's about motion and turning and real action. So it's all about polo. And the ambiance is also very nice, so we really enjoy it.
The weather's perfect. What more can you say?
Getting in the saddle is always fun, even if Siegfried Gross's team only ends up in third place. Tomorrow, though, he'll exchange his saddle for his desk job.
I always calm down on the weekend, but the adrenaline is still there. I get to the office early on Monday and notice that I'm still a bit restless because the excitement on the weekend is still coursing through me. So it takes a while to settle down.
But as soon as the opportunity presents itself, he'll leave his manager's desk behind and saddle up once more.
And finally, this past week saw the further expansion of Germany's intellectual heritage. The country's National Library was established back in 1912 to collect, to archive and record all German and German language publications from 1913 on. Well, today it has two locations, one in Leipzig and one in Frankfurt. But with the ever-increasing number of books, CDs and now, of course, even online publications, it's hardly surprising to learn that every couple of decades they do run out of space, which is why a fourth addition to the Leipzig location was just constructed, and its entire concept offers an upbeat and modern take on its historic mission.
Berlin-based breakdance world champions Flying Steps are dancing to classical and modern music today. It's the grand opening of the building in Leipzig, a special day for architect Gabriele Glöckler. Her design covers the area of 2 soccer fields. It will provide space for more than 5 million books. It's the Stuttgart-based architect's first large-scale project. The shape of her design resembles the spine of a book.
The theme covered jacket content came about because the very compact archive areas are covered up to protect the books from the environment. The cover changes the shape of the entire body.
The structure of the windows is inspired by the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. Glöckler translated his Goldberg piano variations into a symphony of colors. The open-plan interior is inviting and functional. The reading rooms of the German music archives have had state-of-the-art audio equipment installed, enabling visitors to do more than just read.
They can place sheet music here and then use this keyboard to play it. They can listen to it through the headphones and see how it all sounds.
Most of the building has been designed to house archives. A copy of every German-language book published since 1913 is housed in the National Library. Books in other languages with relevance to Germany are also collected. About 1,000 new books arrive daily.
Every year we get enough new books here to fill kilometers worth of shelves. So from time to time we have to expand the building. This is the 4th expansion in the library's century-long history, and it won't be in the last.
The book tower, built in the 1970s, was used for storage in the former East Germany. The Präsenz Library, with its old reading room, dates back to the year 1916. The new building is stylistically different from the older parts of the library.
During planning, it was important to me that the public areas be flowing spatial landscapes in line with their surroundings. The room is called a reading room, but it doesn't have much in common with a classic room. You can tell that from the furnishings. They're distributed freely around the room. The library concept enables a different kind of freedom of movement.
The building cost 60 million euros. Books and recordings, as well as internet texts, will be archived here too. Some books will be digitized before their contents can decay. This latest architectural addition to a city with its own annual book festival is in itself a worthy cause for celebration.
And don't forget, you can catch up on our Euromaxx highlights anytime on our website. Just go to dw-world.de/English/Euromaxx-highlights. And with that, it is time for us to sign off. So until we meet again, thanks for watching. Tschüss from us and bye-bye.